into that deal, if you could share that with us, and like, what was the experience through that process?
I would say it wasn't a single. I think one of my best solo years, about 2022, I got like $1.8 million solo for like 10 different projects. And it ranged between the Omega Lamplighters, which is a youth program. Appreciate that. It was the Omega Lamplighters, which is a youth program under Omega Psi Phi fraternity. We got our first allocation there. I had one allocation for a suicide prevention program, another one for a scholarship for low-income college students, another one for elderly for youth students to essentially teach old people to stop being scammed online so they can understand. Because during the pandemic, everybody was scamming the old folks, right? So they ended up being a different mix there. Also, some money for people that were coming out of prison so that they could transition back into life well, so at least the workforce development part was there. So to me, it was more getting out of the narrative of DeSantis and the nonsense.
No, you right, son, my bad. Give him 90 yards. I told you I had it. What told his mama told me he needed a scholarship. He needed a change in his life. And I'm going to give it to him in Eugene, baby. I'm going to give it to him in Eugene right now. We're going to 90 yards. We're going to the 90 yards. It ain't over till I say it's over. Black on black line, nigga. Black on black line. Welcome to Black History Month, nigga. What's up? Welcome to Black History Month, my boy. Welcome to BHM. It's another one. Oh, we coming back. Don't worry. Woo! We're doing this for slavery, for civil rights, for Jim Crow. Hey, happy Black History Month. Happy Black History Month. Happy Black History Month to you, BHM. Hey, you ain't even know. Welcome Black History Month. Welcome for Rosa Parks, baby. Sojourner Truth. That's what we dropping. Sojourner Truth all month. Oh, I was about to say, we all killing each other.
Did you know they let banks put mortgages on black people in Florida? You don't believe me? Let's check the statutes. See, in 1842, the Florida legislature had a huge problem of people taking loans from banks on the slaves that they owned, not paying on those mortgages, and taking the slaves and running to other states. Now, as we see here in the text, resolution called for a committee of 3 members of the Senate and 5 from the House to be appointed.
Hold on, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, the Hip Hop Lobbyist. My bad for being gone so long, y'all. You know, it was my anniversary yesterday, 7 years, so I had to take care of family first, you know. And wife and I ended up working most of the day, which is, you know, typical, I guess, when you're professional family and stuff, you know what I'm saying? So it's a beautiful thing. Thank you for all your patience. I've been traveling, moving, shaking, working, quietly not posting because I was waiting on the governor, good old Florida's governor, to announce the budget recommendations for the state this year. He actually did yesterday. Longest session in Florida's history for what it was, and it was a long session. Now, I'm going to get into the Trump video because he's going to be speaking live in a minute. Let me double check, make sure he's not speaking live now. Second, y'all. Nope, not yet. So they're announcing a new deportation facility in the great state of Florida. It's a new fiscal year, it's a new law year, it's a new year for laws. It's a little bit of new everything, not just in Florida, across the country. This is when government basically starts. Happy New Year to you. But one of the first things they're going to kick off to start the day is good old Trump is going to, Big Trump is going to announce this new detention facility that Governor Ron DeSantis, who challenged the president, that he thought of to say, hey, we've got a facility in the Everglades that has an airstrip. We can build it out with some of our tax dollars. And this is something that could maybe deport 2,000 illegal immigrants being held at the facility. So it'll be interesting to see how the entire thing goes, because I know that good old Congressman Byron Donalds will be there, the Lakers fan that was born in New York, Republican. He'll be there as well. And from what I heard, he'll be on Air Force One. It was public news, so everybody knows. But it'll be interesting to see, because DeSantis has his own pick that he wants to be governor next, and Trump has his. But I'm going to get into this Trump piece about 7 minutes here. Let me make sure I'm live on, hold on, live on Twitch. I am live on Twitch. Let me make sure I'm live where I need to be. All right, live on Twitch, live on YouTube, live on TikTok. Thank you for taking time this morning, tapping in with your boy Stream. Let me make sure that I can get where I need it to be. There we go. In this video, we'll be watching President Trump speak before he goes to Alligator Alcatraz in Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis' new pet project that came up. Again, if it's your first time here in Hip Hop Lobbyist, a professional lobbyist in the state of Florida, yesterday was veto day, and I came out 50%. Now, in normal, I almost got choked up. In normal careers, that's great. You're batting 50%, shooting 50% from the field. That's amazing. I don't look at it that way. I want 170, 80%. And one of the biggest things I'm mad about, before I get into Trump, my bad, y'all, is that Governor DeSantis cut a lot of the mentorship programs. Damn near all the mentorship program funding that the legislature said, you know what, hey, these are good programs. They're making an impact in these communities. Not just the ones that I work with, but others. They got cut. And I sat back and said, oh, damn. I guess mentorship is not a priority. Government tax dollars for the governor. So I got to rework chessboard and see how we approach it next year. But that's that. This is this. Let's get into President Trump speaking here before he goes and speaks at Alligator Alcatraz. Let's switch over. Nope, that's not it. He's still not right.
Final version. No, I don't want to go too crazy with cuts. I don't like cuts. There are certain things that have been cut, which is good. I think we're doing well. We're going to have to see. It's very complicated stuff. Great enthusiasm, as you know. And I think in the end, we're going to have it. What do you think, Caroline? Yeah, I think it is.
What do you think about Zoran Mamdani having such a hard time condemning the phrase globalizing intifada?
I think he's terrible. He's a communist. The last thing we need is a communist. I said there will never be socialism in the United States.
Come on, can y'all hear him?
I think he's bad news. And I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with him, watching him, because he has to come right to this building to get his money. And don't worry, he's not going to run away with anything. I think he's frankly, I've heard he's a total nut job.
I got to find another video, because that air hanger in the back is just ridiculous, bro. Like, it's honestly ridiculous. My bad, y'all. Is he live? They're not live yet. Let me actually, I'm going to go to this one. This video, we'll see Governor DeSantis. Let me pull this one out. I'll find a better audio for that one. This video, we'll see Governor DeSantis touring out Alligator Alcatraz, which he's opening up today with good old Big Trump, Donald Trump, who's flying down again from D.C. Let's check out this video while I fix this other one. Thank you for subscribing or liking the channel. Good morning as well.
The Everglades would be so quiet, but right now the hills are alive with the sound of construction. Joining us right now is Governor Ron DeSantis here in the great state of Florida. You came up with this idea in the last couple of weeks, right? For Alcatraz, or Alligator Alcatraz. Explain it.
Well, when you want to have deportation of illegal aliens, there's a process the DHS has to go through to vet, to process, and then to stage them for removal.
Right.
And, you know, we've got jails, and our sheriffs and police are working. The state of Florida is all in on President Trump's mission. And obviously you have ICE operations, but that's not enough. And so there needs to be more ability to intake, process, and then deport. So this answers that. This is going to be able to have more than 3,000 illegals can be processed through here. We've got a massive runway right behind us where any of the federal assets, if they want to fly these people back to their home country, they can do it one-stop shop.
So where will the migrants come from? And we should point out, we're about 50 miles to the west of Miami, right?
More than that, I'd say. So we're in the heart. We're actually mostly in Collier. We're actually mostly in Collier County, to be honest with you. So
I was going to say
this is the
we're in the middle of nowhere.
Dade Collier Airport. So this is an airport that we use for training, military. As you see, we're doing this on the existing footprint. But basically, I would say most of the illegals will likely be ones that are apprehended in Florida. You know, we've got across this country about 750,000 illegals that have already been ordered to be removed by an immigration judge. We've probably got 50,000 or more in Florida. And so we're going to have our hands full just with that. But I'll tell you, this is going to be a force multiplier, and we're really happy to be working with the federal government to satisfy President Trump's mandate.
None of this stuff was here, except for the runway, about a week ago.
Well, there's a couple buildings with the airport. This is a functioning airport. The media has erroneously tried to say it was defunct. It's not defunct. They do have flights. All those training flights will still be able to continue, no problem. But all the stuff that goes into intake and processing of illegals, you're seeing this put up. This is all 24 hours. 24 hours from now, you're going to see even more. And by Tuesday, this will be able to have intake of illegals.
And it's funny to see, because this is partially the reason that the governor got into the whole fight with the Florida House and leadership in the Florida legislature this year, because he was trying to jump the gun. Now, this is an idea, you know, he just said that he came up with and say, hey, we're going to help the president. But the president hasn't even effectively really passed legislation, or Congress hasn't passed real legislation to address this. So it's more like, hey, I'm going to circumvent the entire system. That's really what happened in Florida, right? That's why we had the budget not being signed. Our session was over Cinco de Mayo. The budget was signed yesterday because they delayed the budget, because they realized that, listen, bro, you ran for president. You took over Florida. You've taken over everything you need to do in Florida. And you want to be president so bad. You piss people off, and they're like, you know what, we're not getting to a pissing contest. You know what, you're going to do what you got to do, get in front of the press. But the reality of it is, people know the governor. They don't know these other state elected officials, just to be real. Right? He's on national news. Everybody else gets an interview, but he'll draw a greater viewership, if anything, right? So cool. He circumvents the entire system. Bogarts the beginning of session. Ends up basically, I wouldn't say hog tying the shit, but derailing a lot of the normal process, which caused people to be more strategic. I just want them to start overriding vetoes, baby. Listen, I mean, all the vetoes, all 600 million, all 590 million, let's go get it all back, man. We vetted this. We were up here the whole time. Let's go get this money back, man. The issue that we're going to have is, I believe Collier County is in my good man Byron Donalds district. So, could be. I haven't looked at the map. I don't know where this is exactly, so don't quote me. But the fact of the matter is, I know my man Byron going to show up, and, you know, this is something that Trump got to speak on here. Like, this isn't my idea. It's good that Ron did it, but Byron, when you take over, I need you to make sure this keeps going through. You feel me? I think that's the biggest thing that's going to happen is, this is happening now. I'm actually looking live in on the press conference now. Nothing's happening. People just standing around for the most part, sheriffs and some of the other elected. So we'll flip over there when it's time, but we'll get through the rest of this. But the bigger part is more Republican infighting before we get into the midterms. Because what you have here is a set of DeSantis Republicans, good old Republicans, not like race-based or whatever, like good old Republicans, Reagan Republicans. And then you have MAGA. All put together, they're going to vote Republican. But who do they want at the top of the ship? Who do they want steering the ship? And this guy right here, I'll be honest, I went 50-50 in the budget. I'm not going to say nothing bad. But that's a lame duck governor right there. And people know it. It's not just me. It's the writing on the wall, because this is politics. It's like LeBron going out. It's like a swan song, like, bro, just leave. But politics.
Thought of everything. Okay, so there are 4 gigantic tents. Let's come on over here, Governor. And people are thinking, okay, you're in the middle of the Everglades. It's hot. That would explain why you've got this bank of air conditioners here.
Yeah, so I mean, this is going to be,
Hey, good morning.
illegals will come in, they'll be
Riff-raff.
processed, there'll be places for them to be housed, you'll have an ability for food, you'll have an ability for them to consult legal
Good morning,
rights
Southern
if
dudes.
they have that, because there is a process that's involved with this. So this is really everything. This is going to be a self-contained little area. And then, of course, you also have stuff for the staff that work here. So
Right.
we've got laundry facilities, we've got showers, we've got, obviously, there you see the
I got you, Elton.
shower and bath facilities.
Yeah, right there.
Yep.
Where do you go to get a bunch of bathrooms like that?
Well, so this is being done by the Division of Emergency Management. So when we have a hurricane, like we would actually have people stage here for hurricane response normally,
Right.
anyways, but we have it when we have all the linemen come in to do the power.
Sure.
We have to set up little areas for them, and so you have all this type of stuff. So this is not our first rodeo. The detainee illegal alien mission's a little bit different, and the deportations, but logistics, we know how to do that.
Right, and for people thinking, okay, they're going to put the migrants on this hot asphalt, it looks like you're building a subfloor, and in fact, some guys are putting down the plywood.
Yeah,
right
no,
now.
look, this will be, I mean, there's not going to be anything that they're hurting for anything. There'll be AC, there'll be things that everybody needs. There's medical here. So it's being done right. It's being done by the book.
Well, when you think of the imagery of Alcatraz, Alcatraz is surrounded by a bay. Here in the Everglades, you're actually surrounded by gators and pythons.
So this is as secure as it gets. I mean, if a criminal alien were to escape from here somehow, and I don't think they will, you've got nowhere to go. I mean, what are you going to do? Trudge through the swamp and dodge alligators on the way back to 50, 60 miles just to get to civilization? Not going to happen. So not only that is it secure, it also takes this deportation mission out of the hair of our local and state law enforcement. This has no impact on Florida residents because some of that stuff can have an impact on them if it's in more populated areas. And so logistically, this really answers the call. All you need is a little bus to move them, about 2,000 feet that way, then get on a plane and they're gone.
Well, listen, the DHS must love this because they're hurting for facilities, and here you are helping the federal government out.
Yeah, well, I said at the very beginning when President Trump took office, you have to have state and locals on board. You got to be on the team if you want to get the deportation mission done.
This is like kiss my ass. I need something like, and I just got to be real, man. Like, you can have a title, all the other good stuff, governor, president, senator, representative. Half this stuff not going to be on the burial plot, all right? It's just going to say a name, and people going to have memories of it, right? The good and bad things that you've done. But this is listen, I want to be president. And when I run for president after Trump, the goal is to show how I helped the federal government get ahead of something. Because I know Congress is broken from my time working in Congress. I came to Florida, looked at all the things I did in Florida. And even now, when we're talking about education, I'm going after the SACS accreditation. So I'm going to get all the southern states a southern strategy. No shade, no shot, no tea. A southern strategy on education. So that I can then go and have all these credential things I've done to run in 2028. Because the foundation will be set because I'm gone in 2026 and I need at least a year and a half, 2 years for y'all to remember me on my legacy, on what I've done. That's really what's happening. So we can get out the narrative of, okay, all I've done, whatever. The only reason he probably didn't cut $3 or $4 billion from the budget this year is because he didn't have time to fine tooth comb everything. He just started taking shots at everybody, right? It happens. But I need my people in the House to override. I need my people in the Senate. Like, listen, man, y'all get voted by the same people. The same people vote for him, voted for y'all, man. Override the veto, baby.
We're done
That's
that
all I'm
better than
saying.
anybody, but I hope other states will follow suit.
If the president is watching, I'm sure that runway right over there could probably land Air Force One.
An invitation from me. We can land Air Force One right there, no problem. We'll get it done. I think the president would be impressed with what these guys are doing out here.
Well, it is very, very impressive. Let me ask you something off topic regarding Alcatraz here. A couple days ago, you said regarding New York City, where that socialist won the Democratic primary, if he wins, so many people are going to be leaving New York. It's going to be a giant exodus, and they're going to be coming to Florida.
You know, I mean, unfortunately, I think the bad governance just repels people. And I love New York City. I think it's one of the greatest cities in the world when it's at its peak. But now they're struggling. And if this guy gets in, all bets are off. And yes, the socialism, he wants to tax like white neighborhoods more. It's insane. But I'll tell you, when he says abolish the NYPD,
right,
eliminate cash bail, your personal safety as a resident there is at risk if this guy's policies go into effect. And that's the one thing I found talking to people that have moved to Florida. They have no tolerance for the kind of defund the police nonsense. And
right,
once these leftists do that, they get out of doubt because they want to protect.
Here's the thing, though, right? I got to be real about DeSantis and everything, bro. Nobody said this since like 2018, maybe 2020. Right? We can check Google Trends. I haven't seen nobody talk about defund the police because it didn't work, right? It was the activist narrative that didn't make any damn sense because guess what? When you get shot, when somebody breaks in your house, you're not calling your homeboy to come fix it, you're calling the police. So we weren't defunding the police. It's not happening. You actually may want to defund the police if you want to remove property taxes. Let's have a conversation. Big Ronnie, you vetoed half my projects. Guess what? Hey, hello. How would removing some of these property taxes hurt the police in rural and urban areas? Let's have that conversation. Because if they have to adjust, if the city and the county have to adjust 25, 30% of their budget, that may go to some police resources, wouldn't that be defunding the police? Man, let's get real technical in the nonsense that we're talking about. First off, nobody's saying woke. Woke wasn't even what you made it to be. You got hot like Elvis on some black folks narrative that didn't even make sense for what you were saying. All right, cool. We took woke. Shit, we can't say woke no more. We done moved on to something else, right? Click it or whatever it is, right? Now it's to a point you're saying defund the police, bruh. Nobody's even saying that no more. You can't even protest in half of these places no more. So to me, it's more, if you're going to be a culture vulture and culturally appropriate the narrative, at least know what the hell you're saying. At least be relevant. Do a TikTok dance in your boots. Unloose your damn shirt or something. Like, I get you the governor. But you look lame too, even to the Republicans, man. Because nobody's saying defund the police anymore. Because guess what? The people realize, like, listen, I got black homeboys out of police. I got white homies and Hispanic homies and Asian homies out of police. Like, you know what? I see the benefit. I'm not calling my homeboy to fix me up when, you know, somebody breaking my house. Unfortunately, I'm not going to, whatever happens. But, you know, I'm calling the police. If an altercation happens, I'm calling the police, regardless of what it is. So my thing is, if you're going to attack the culture, at least use the right relevant narratives, because this shit's lame now, bro. Fuck it.
Protect themselves and their families.
Well, and the guy's talking about
Just lame as
the
fuck.
grocery stores will be run by the city.
Imagine how well that's going to work out.
Right.
I think.
Just imagine the DMV for butter and bread.
No,
That's going to be crazy.
We know his ideas will not work. They have been tried in some areas and some of the things he's done. But even places like San Francisco have course corrected a little bit. Why would you want to put somebody in office where you know it's going to lead to disaster?
Well, and I've heard that I saw on social media that one of those celebrity real estate agents said as soon as he won the primary, his phone was ringing off the hook. I don't want to buy that apartment in New York. Find me something in Florida.
Yeah, you know, and it's sad. I mean, we're proud of what we've done. You know, our budget in Florida, even though we have millions of more people than New York State, our budget's half the size of New York. No income tax. We're working on eliminating property tax for our residents. We're doing all this good stuff. Low crime rate, and we're proud of that. But part of the reason we've been successful is because of bad decisions in New York,
Yeah.
Illinois, California. People ask me, well, how do you guys do it? I was like, well, I have a little cheat code. All I do is watch California, Illinois, New York,
Right.
then do the opposite. And when I do that, it works out.
Well, and it's one of the reasons why I am now based in Florida.
There you go.
I am a Florida resident.
We're glad to have you.
My governor, Ron DeSantis. Congratulations, this looks great. And
Yep.
once again, if the president's watching, call the governor's office, come take a look. It's fantastic. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
I mean, it happened. Some people can say, well, you know what, if Andrew Gillum won, this would have never happened. Andrew Gillum would have had to win re-election too. Like, let's get out the narrative. Let's get all the feelings in the bullshit. Let's be real. You have a chance to have a black governor next. His name's Byron Donalds. You want to make history? If it's about being black, let's do it. It's about who this Democrat would shape. We can't go electing David Jolly. David Jolly, former Republican. Turned Democrat. Running for governor here as well, because the Democratic Party here is broken. Democratic Party here has been broken. So all you can do is work within the confines of the game that you play. You think people wanted LeBron James to dominate and go to every NBA Finals for 8 years? No, they didn't. Some people out there like, damn, I want to go. I had dreams of going to the finals, but LeBron kept me out again. DeMar DeRozan. Think about it.
A lot better.
So it's the fact that we have to play within the game that we live, but also realize as we check in on the press conference that's about to happen. The main thing is we got to play within the game. So that's Rep. What is her name? I can't remember her name right now, but she had something must have happened to her ankle. She must have been hurt herself on a boat trip. We got Byron Donalds in the building. A whole lot of other people walking through. You know, see nothing's happening in the press conference. Oh, my speaker, Danny Perez. He's in the building. What is her name? Got the Ag Commissioner, Florida Ag Commissioner Wilton Simpson. James Uthmeyer, the Attorney General, who's finally should be under federal investigation for Hope, Florida, but Trump not going to speak about it. We're not going to detain him at the new detention center. We're not going to do that. Everybody getting in line. I think it's about to happen. Let's see what Big Trump is. Look at that. This is Joe Gruder's in the house. You got Big Joe in the house, Byron in the house, Uthmeyer. That's a lot of movement. It's a lot of caucasity in the building. Let's see what's happening in Congress. I'm going to see what we're doing live here before Trump comes in. Nothing. Let me check the chat. First off, how your week been going? Let me check with my people. Low melanin. Yeah, low melanin count in the building. Just State Troopers. Yes, that's what I voted for. All right. Hey, Gabriel, not police or sheriff. I mean, it could be Florida Wildlife. It's somebody. It's law enforcement regardless. They can still bust your ass if you break the law. What are we talking about? $2 federal dollars, like, we don't see sales tax. We don't have sales tax. Another win for Team Trump. Those are State Troopers. Appreciate that. DD. My man DD, man. Happy Tuesday. Listen, I don't know if you were here earlier. It was my anniversary yesterday, 7 years in. So I haven't been streaming and working. I was waiting on DeSantis to sign the budget. We shot 50% from the field this year, man. 50% of our projects made it. The other half didn't. And I'm more hurt about the fact of, again, DeSantis cut out the mentorship dollars, bruh. Like, I'll be upset, no lie. Like, okay, cool, yeah, somebody else made it in over me, all this other stuff. But when I looked at the list, when I looked at the whole list, I'm like, wait a minute. It's a lot of mentorship programs, not just working with urban youth, right? Black kids, but a lot of men. I'm like, damn, bro, this what you want? Clearly, I got a readjust the strategy now, but it hurt. But either way, man. Thank y'all for tapping into the stream. Alligators need to eat too. Feed the gators. That's wild. Gator bait. Y'all wild in the street. Are they burning books in Florida? No, Ralph, they're not. Byron Lawn Jockey. Y'all are, hey, I always, Please translate to English. Johnny the Monkey. Thank you for that, man. Hey, y'all know my mods are here to take Johnny the Monkey out. Disney does not pay taxes. Look it up. All right. Disney is tax exempt. Okay. That's why it looks familiar. I live in Florida. I moved here from New Jersey. I love it here. Hey, Valerie, appreciate the comment. Democrat Party is good. Yeah, especially in Florida. We got Nikki Frieda down. Look, check this out. She won on a recount by like 30-something votes. And then she campaigned against DeSantis for 4 years and couldn't even come out of the primary. And guess what? Guess what happened from there? She couldn't even beat the former Republican governor, turned Democrat Charlie Crist. And she is the head of the Democratic Party. What are we supposed to do? Like, you can't have losers lose and lead. I'm a Clippers fan. I'm a Boston Red Sox fan. I'm a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. At one point, I was a Manchester United fan. You can't have losers lead after losing. Fire Nikki Fried, Democrats. Because there's nothing she can post on Twitter today that make you say, oh, you know what? Yeah, that's the leader. That's my leader. That's my leader. That's my leader. Nobody gonna do that. They're looking at Nikki, because guess what? She got arrested after she lost the primary and she wore a shirt that said just effing vote. I'm like, bruh, you couldn't even get people to vote for you. This is wild. What a legend. Y'all are wild. This is sick. I mean, it's biased. What do you all think? Let's ask chat. Do you think it's Disney bringing billions of positive economy impact to Florida? Economic. I feel, yeah, it almost fucked me up, Chris. I got you. They do. People travel all over the world to Florida for Disney. Just to experience it. My homeboy actually went to Disney for the first time yesterday. Shout out to my dog, Webby Casillas. I don't want to quote his wrong handle right now because it could be offensive, but on Picks and Flicks, he went to Disney the first time yesterday, and I had to tell him, like, bro, how you been a dad longer than me? And you wearing Nikes to the theme park, bro. You don't want no hard bottoms. You wear Crocs with socks, some shorts, a nice open shirt, and a straw hat. And that straw hat gonna keep you cool all day, dog. Don't get it at the park. It's $50. Get at another spot, about $10, $15. Bust a straw hat in. Cool all day. I'll be in there all day with the right outfit. I don't learn. I learn. Hold on, what we got? Oh. Alligator Alcatraz. Appreciate everybody tapping in.
Nice, and the job they've done is fantastic.
You like Republicans, black guy? I work with Republicans, John. I know Byron Donalds personally. He's a Lakers fan. We done had drinks together. So I have no beef with him and his political positions. Do I have to agree with everything he says? No. Do I have to have beef with everything just because he's Republican? No, I'm cool with his wife. Beautiful family. It is what it is. It's not an issue to me. It's more of a fact of people being like, oh, you're a Republican, I can't associate with you at all. I can disagree and be disagreeable. No. British law, we've been told places for protesters. Okay. Bro, you want a cult? Ask. What cult would I be in? Oh, would Democrats be a cult? Democrats could be a cult. I don't know. Florida and Texas are the best states. Oh, they're big Trump bros. Hold on.
But Biden let in how many millions, and you got to
take care of
them. And so this is one example of state operating this. The feds are approving it, supporting it. We're also going to have 2,000 more at Camp Blanding, which is our National Guard.
Hold on, let's switch over. There we go.
On any given day, Florida constitutes about 20% of all immigration arrests nationwide. The feds are approving it, supporting it. We're also going to have 2,000 more at Camp Blanding, which is our National Guard site. And we're the only state in the country that mandates our state and local law enforcement to cooperate with ICE. It's made a huge difference. On any given day, Florida constitutes about 20% of all immigration arrests nationwide. So, Florida's doing what I would just say
flip it over here.
Don't let Florida be the only state. We've got very red states that should be doing this just as much as Florida or some of those other places. So I think this is a model, but we need other states to step up.
I was going to ask you, would this be enticing for other states to come up with their own model?
They are doing it. We have Louisiana doing it big. Alabama's doing it. We have a lot of states. They seem to be red states, and not too many blue states for whatever reason. You know, it's but the red states, Republican-run states, are doing it. The blue states don't do very well at security and policing, unfortunately. What would you say, Kristen?
You know, I would say that exactly right. The governor here has been fantastic in forming this partnership with the Department of Homeland Security. We were looking at different contracts with different vendors and thought, why not go straight to our governors and ask them to help us solve this problem? Florida was unique in what they presented to us, and I would ask every other governor to do the exact same thing. This is unique because we can hold individuals here, they can have their hearings, get due process, and then immediately be flown back home to their home countries. And their home countries are welcoming them. They're setting up loans for houses, they've got food assistance, they're helping to facilitate.
DHS Secretary.
I just got home from Panama, Costa Rica, Guatemala, Honduras, and they're all excited about getting their individuals back home from the United States. So
and there is a lot of self-deporting. That's one thing I was actually surprised, but a lot of self-deporting.
What is happening with this stream?
We did a little circle. I said, let me see. That's a big piece of land. I think it's 25 minutes to fly around. Is there potential for enlargement or additional facilities out here?
There may be. I mean, I think what we're doing is, because this is an important part of Florida, we're using the existing footprint of this airport. So when you guys go over there, you'll see all the beds, the medical, the galley, everything is on the concrete. We're not using any of the other stuff. Now, as you'll see, there's a lot of concrete, so there very well may be. I know Secretary Noem and her team have said as soon as the president departs, we'll be open to start receiving folks. And so we'll see what the tempo is. We do have the 2000 in Northeast Florida that will open very soon. So it is possible to do. One of the things I think that is exciting about this is we're offering up our National Guard and other folks in Florida to be deputized to be immigration judges. We're working with the Department of Justice for the approvals. I'm sure Pam will approve. But then I'll have a National Guard judge advocate here. Someone has a notice to appear. Biden would tell them to come back in 3 years and appear. Now you'll be able to appear in like a day or two, so they're not going to be detained, hopefully, for all that long. We'll have people here in this facility that can make, it's a bureaucracy. The president's got to deal with the bureaucracy. Now, that Supreme Court ruling was good because that's going to allow him to be able to exercise Article 2.
Look at him.
Founders intended, but you still
Kissing all cup ass.
So we want to cut through that so that we
Where's my cool out?
operation between Florida and DHS
Hey, Deanna.
to get the removal of these illegals done.
How many initially, Mr. President?
Going after the worst of the worst, or are you now arresting anyone who is here?
We're doing the worst of the worst always first.
yes.
And I think it's great government, what we've done. And nobody can ever forget what this group of people, Biden or whoever it was, because it probably wasn't even Biden. I don't think he knew what the hell he was doing. But Biden, whoever it was, what these people, a small group that circled the Resolute desk, what they did to this country. Think of it, what your time, all the time you have to waste doing this. It's an unforced error. We had nothing. We had no problem with this. There was never anything like
Now that's not on me. This is YouTube. I'm on AT&T Fiber. My internet normally working. This is the stream itself. So my apologies there for this thing lagging out and pausing out. I didn't do nothing. Let me refresh, see what we get.
Well, I was thinking about that, I must say. It was meant more as a joke, but the more I thought of it, the more I liked it, if you want to know the truth. And they were serious. They were actually crocodiles. They were crocodiles from Africa. They are a step beyond. But no, that was.
Why it gotta be from Africa, dog? What? It's always a shot from Africa with Trump, man.
The Senate, it appears, is about to vote on
I
your
hear
big,
we're
beautiful
doing
bill.
well, Ron. I hear we're doing well.
Are you confident this can get
I
done
don't
by
know,
the 4th of
confident.
July?
What
You're
does
welcome,
that
Patty.
mean when you're like when you have one vote and you have 100 people going to vote? I think so. I think it's going to be the greatest bill ever passed, even for you as an example. Tremendous amount of Homeland Security money.
Oh,
tremendous amount. It's going to keep the border secure because we have them secure now, but we need to build more wall. I built almost 600 miles of wall. We need more wall, and all of that's covered in this bill. This bill is amazing for everybody. It's an amazing bill for Florida, too. Really great for Florida.
What are the concerns about the Medicaid cuts, though, Mr.
No,
President?
we're not going to be playing with
An
Medicaid.
estimated
Only waste,
11.8
fraud, and
million
abuse.
Americans could lose
Yeah,
their
the
coverage. Are you
Democrats
breaking
have it
your
wrong.
promise?
Yeah. Waste, fraud, and abuse. In fact, if you look at what's gone on, we've gone way back. We take care of Medicaid. We take care of Medicare. They will blow Medicare and Medicaid because they have no idea what they're doing. Just like they don't have any idea what they did on the border, they have no idea. Medicaid is in big trouble with the Democrats.
Wait, that's a Gulf of America hat?
That is because of waste, fraud, and abuse.
Waste, fraud, only waste, fraud, and abuse, which is what everybody wants.
I didn't know they had those. I didn't know they had the GOAs, bro.
What will you do if
Hey, Jamie.
rises an offensive?
We'll see what happens. I'm watching it very closely.
Mr. President? About Prime Minister Netanyahu's visit next week, what are you hoping to get out of that? And do you think there'll be any progress?
Well, it's going to be a very quick celebration. We had a great hit. It was a obliteration. Okay, now it turns out it was an obliteration. You know, they demeaned CNN mostly and the New York Times, fake New York Times. They demeaned these great soldiers. They went over there 17 hours flying, and they hit bullseye after bullseye after bullseye. It all blew up. Everybody saw it. Then they get back, and CNN said, well, they did okay, but maybe it wasn't. Let me tell you, it was beyond obliteration. Nobody can even get down there. The tunnels are busted. Everything fell into the well. It was a total and complete obliteration, and we should celebrate these heroes. And what I'm doing is I'm bringing them, Ron, we're bringing them to Florida or to the White House. I gave them their choice. I think they're going to take the White House.
Probably.
I shouldn't tell you this.
Mr. President, there's going to be a new bill called Make American Elections Great Again.
I love it.
Forcing the U.S. Census Bureau to redo the census to actually get an account of how many Americans with proof of citizenship are in our area, in our country, redistricting some of the House districts. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll speak for both of us. We love it. Okay, you're going to like this one. I know all about it. We want to bring our elections back. The election in 2020 was rigged, millions and millions of votes. It had to do with COVID and a lot of things, but it really had to do with the crooked people. The Democrats are very good at cheating on elections. And that's why I said too big to rig.
That's how they're going to get the next one, y'all.
But after about 9:02, they gave up too many votes. You know, too big to rig. Ron would love it. I would love it. Christie would love it. That's what they have to do. They have to bring it back. And we have to look, you know, Ron, they include anybody that happens to be in your state.
Well, California would lose like 5 seats if they did a fair census. And even beyond that, the Biden census gypped Florida of at least 1 seat. We only got 1 seat in the last census. Are you trying?
I got to pause it right there for real, because this is a tactic that Democrats don't think of, right? First of all, that's not what it was. It was a fact of y'all were asking a citizenship question on the last census, which made a lot of people that were illegal not participate in the census to be counted. Because even though they're here illegal or illegally, or even if they were children of whatever it is, that led to the lowest accounted census in maybe 100 years. And a lot of that helped. And then what also, if you saw good old President Trump say, you know what, yeah, Ronald liked this. You know why he'll like it? Because he redrew Congressional District 5 with Congressman Al Lawson, one of the minority access seats that went from Jacksonville to Tallahassee, and redrew it Jacksonville whole, right? To where now, even though it's a predominantly minority city, happen to be Democrats, they cannot elect somebody who represents them now because it's a majority Republican area covered in this district. So they're playing the long game. My Republican followers, subscribers, if you're here for the first time, please make sure you like and subscribe. They're going to love this because it's the strategic part of like, listen, the Democrats not even focus on this. They focus on Medicaid, big, beautiful bill. Look, we're about to do this. The census part is just a part of the next election. So we can get through to say, you know, at 26, we're going to get here, but at least by 2030, 2032, when they do the census or whatever it may be, right? They're going to have everything in line to hold everything at least till 2040, 2050. Strategy that a lot of people don't want to have and a lot of people don't want to talk about in this process, to say, you know what, how do we win? How do we win? By getting out of your bullshit ass feelings. Talk about what's real. And if you want to be real, okay, how does this play into the fact of the census and the congressional seats? Like you heard DeSantis just say, we lost a congressional seat. But I'm not going to blame it on Newsom. I'm not going to blame it on Biden, because Trump was in office and set the parameters for the census that Biden ended up implementing when he came in office. It's politics, man. Because you can look at the man next to you like, I know this is your fault, but I'm not going to blame you. I'm going to blame the other one, because guess what? We homies. But if we weren't homies, I'd literally blame this on you right now. That's literally what's happening. Cut the bullshit. I could cut half my damn projects.
Trying to tell me that Florida only had one seat and that we should have had at least two. Texas should have had another one. That could be the difference in the House of Representatives in the majority. So I would love for them to redo the census for 26.
That's exactly why he drew my former boss, Al Lawson, out of Congress, because the narrative was like, listen, every vote counts, so we need to have this congressional district redrawn. We don't care about the narrative, because they're not going to pay attention to the real shit. And guess what? When they end up marching and protesting for it, guess what? They work to get the homies a part of those positions. And they realize that, listen, this is a bigger game than a protest, even on the House floor. This is a position of saying, this is no shots, no shade, no tea. It's a fact of saying, like, listen, we need some real strategy behind this outside the building, and then one implementing it inside. That's how it works.
My legislature will redistrict those lines. We'll get it to where it's fair. But as it's right now, this country is not fairly apportioned. I've got so many more millions of people in Florida that have representation because of that flawed census.
Mr. President, I think it's going to do very well. A lot of people, I don't know if you've heard about it, it's captivated the country. Everybody wants it. It's going to get in, it's going to pass, and we're going to be very happy.
Elon Musk is ripping into this bill.
Here we go.
Are you concerned that Republicans are going to be swayed by Musk and his money?
No, I don't think so. I think what's going to happen is Doge is going to look at Musk. And if Doge looks at Musk, we're going to save a fortune. Thank you very much, everybody.
Wow. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? That is Big Trump. That's what people voted for. Like, listen, okay, cool. We came in for immigration. I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna hold you. But the way Trump just dropped the mic on Elon like that, somebody clip that for me. Somebody clip that for me, please. That's what we voted for. How would Biden respond? Biden helped get this man all the contracts too. This is crazy. If those, we gotta go back, bruh. Hold on a minute.
We'll get it to where it's fair. But
Yeah.
as it's right now, this country is not fairly apportioned.
Don't worry about it.
I've got so many more millions of people in Florida
Yep.
that have representation because of that flawed census.
That's right.
Mr. President, I think it's going to do very well.
Yep.
A lot of people, I don't know if you've heard about it. It's captivated the country. Everybody wants it. It's going to get in, it's going to pass, and we're going to be very happy.
Elon Musk is ripping into this bill again. Are you concerned that Republicans are going to be swayed by Musk and his money?
No, I don't think so. I think what's going to happen is Doge is going to look at Musk. And if Doge looks at Musk, we're going to save a fortune. Thank you very much, everybody.
That is gangster. Remember how they took Kanye money? Remember Kanye went from a billionaire to a regular dude? Overnight, I almost said the N-word. I'm getting better, baby. Guess what? I voted for that. Listen, I didn't vote for Trump. Right? But I voted for that. Makes sense of it, right? Anyway. They about to take Elon money. The legal way. Boy, listen, then watch him walk.
I think you should be playing that game with
Looking like the man when I walk through. I be looking like the man when I walk through. Man when I walk through. I be looking when I walk through. Watch me, now watch me walk through. Watch me, now watch me walk through. Watch me, now watch me walk through. I be looking man when I walk through. Man when I walk through. That's gangster. That was gangster. Oh my God. Let's see what they're doing on the floor, man. Oh my, I ain't never seen a president go gangster like that, dog. Let me see it one more time. We gotta see it. What? DJ, pull up.
California.
No, we too far back.
What's going to happen is Doge
No.
Barely a portion. I've got so many more millions of people in Florida that have representation because.
Go ahead, man. This is like ether.
I think it's going to do very well.
Why ether? The shit that make you serve barn slow. Is it Dame Diddy, Dame Elon, or Dame Dummy? Ooh.
It's going to pass, and we're going to be very happy.
Elon Musk is ripping into this bill again. Are you concerned that Republicans are going to be swayed by Musk and his money?
No, I don't think so. I think what's going to happen is Doge is going to look at Musk. And if Doge looks at Musk, we're going to save a fortune. Thank you very much, everybody.
Listen, ether.
You should be playing that game with me.
Ooh, that shit that make you serve so burn slow. Listen. I don't want to talk about Nas and Jim Jones. I want to talk about Trump and Elon. Who you got in this track? Who do you have? This is wild. I love this shit. I love this shit, dog. I love this white on white crime, dog. I love the politics crime, dog. Just call them out, shoot them up, take their contracts, shoot them up with amendments. I ain't shooting you up in these streets. I ain't trying to take no life. Bitch, I'm going to take your money and that's going to take your wife. Nigga, what we talking about, man? I still dropped the N-word. My bad, y'all. This is crazy. This is wild, man. What did Elon say? What did Elon do? I gotta see it one more time. That's gangster, man.
It was beyond obliteration. They can't.
That ain't
Nobody. You have to look. You know, Ron. They include anybody who wants it. It's going to get in. It's going to pass, and we're going to be very happy.
Elon Musk is ripping into this bill again. Are you concerned that Republicans are going to be swayed by Musk and his money?
No, I don't think so. I think what's going to happen is Doge is going to look at Musk. And if Doge looks at Musk, we're going to save a fortune. Thank you very much, everybody. I don't think you should be playing that game with me. Mr.
President, hey, man, let me check the chat. Cause y'all, oh my God, that was gangster, wasn't it? Was that gangster chat? Let me know. Was that gangster chat? Hold on. Was that gangster? I thought that was pretty gangster, y'all. Yeah, I thought that was pretty gangster. Y'all got to see what Elon said. What did Elon say about the big, beautiful bill? Oh my goodness. Hold on. Let me check the chat, because y'all been here vibing with your boy. What? It's in my computer. I'm going to have to restart my computer, y'all. I have 11:32, so I'm going to have to hop off in a minute. Let me check the chat. Hold on. Who said hi? Matt West, thank you. Tapping in. Hi, how you doing? Marion, 6-time draft Dodgers. Listen, Steve Smith, new thug life short. Yeah, you're right, Didi. I need to make that. I need to get some clippers on here for real. I'm about to end this and clip that up for real, because Trump gangster for real. I'm not going to hold you. Epstein files coming. Appreciate deleting that, Didi. My man. Always tapping in. Trump is a clown. Bruh, yeah, thug life. Who is Taco? Yeah, no brain cells. What was that? What am I on, Cap? Bruh, that was funny, bruh. I'm just vibing with my community on YouTube, man. My bad for taking so long to get back and tap in with y'all. Appreciate you, everybody tapping in today. Listen. Let me go check out what's happening on Congress. Actually, no. I'm reading what Elon was saying. Let's flip into this other video. I know I gotta flip my cameras over. We live on Twitch today too, and TikTok. Everybody tapping in. I thank you for taking your time out of your day to spend it with your boy. Is this the right one? That one, either way. Let's check this out while I pull up some more stuff before my next call. Excuse me. Maybe another press conference will tap into. We'll see.
Bill, which could be headed for a final vote in the Senate after a long day of debating amendments to it, and perhaps for some Republican members staring into the abyss. Here's why. Polling consistently shows it is strikingly unpopular with voters. The Congressional Budget Office estimates it adds more than $3 trillion to the national debt and could deprive nearly 12 million Americans of health insurance through Medicaid. That, and it now comes with a double dose of existential terror for Republicans on the fence. On the one hand, the president over the weekend managed to drive one opponent of the bill out of seeking another term. On the other, Elon Musk has just weighed in on anyone voting yes, quoting him now. every member of Congress who campaigned on reducing government spending and then immediately voted for the biggest debt increase in history should hang their head in shame. And if that weren't enough, he adds, and they will lose their primary next year if it is the last thing I do on this earth. Now, given that his Mars mission won't be ready to go for years, that's a lot of primaries. But that's not all. He also reiterated his call from 3 weeks ago for a new political party and says he would start one a day after the bill passes.
Oh, wow.
Rock meet hard place. North Carolina's Tom Tillis chose the Rock, announcing that he will not seek another term, and he slammed the president on the bill's Medicaid cuts.
What do I tell 663,000 people in 2 years or 3 years when President Trump breaks his promise by pushing them off of Medicaid because the funding's not there anymore, guys? It is inescapable that this bill in its current form will betray the very promise that Donald J. Trump made in the Oval Office.
So today, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that Senator Tillis is, and these are her words, just wrong. But listen to what the president has been saying on the subject going back a decade and decide for yourself.
Save Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security without cuts. Have to do it.
We're going to love and cherish Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. We're not going to do anything with that.
Can you guarantee that Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security will not be touched?
Yeah, I mean, I have said it so many times, you shouldn't be asking me that question.
What happens if it comes to your desk, has the tax cuts, but also cuts to Medicaid? Would you veto that?
Well, we're not doing that.
Would
no,
you
we're
veto
not,
that?
I would if they were cutting it, but they're not cutting it. We're not cutting Medicaid. We're not cutting Medicare.
A lot to get to tonight. CNN Chief White House Correspondent Caitlin Collins starts us off. Caitlin, how concerned is the White House about potential cracks in the Republican coalition?
I mean, they're watching all of this and watching Senator Tom Tillis, in that scathing floor speech on Sunday, John. But then, of course, after he announced that he was not going to be seeking re-election, the president was cheerleading that and saying essentially good riddance to Tom Tillis, given they believe he's been a thorn in their side during all of this. And John, obviously, when they look at this overall, and I've been talking to White House officials about what they think.
Watching and see that because I'll react to it. But I actually want to see the speech itself. So I'm going to actually go to Tom Tillis' speech, his floor debate. And let's watch it for ourselves and make an opinion. So this section of video, at the same time, I'm trying to make content videos for my channel itself. So if anything, appreciate y'all liking, subscribing to the channel, tapping in with your boy today. If it's your first time here, I'm a lobbyist, the hip hop lobbyist, as you see the logo on the back, based out of Florida. We just wrapped up officially yesterday, if you want to count it. We just wrapped up our legislative session because the government signed the budget, and we're here. But in today's video, this section at least, we'll be watching Tom Tillis, North Carolina senator, break down his thoughts on the big, beautiful bill.
The senator from North Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to be brief. I promised Senator Hollins, Senator. Going to be about 5 minutes. This is an easy one. Number one, I should have probably said this earlier. My colleagues on the other side of the aisle, I completely disagree with the narrative of the billionaire taxes. Folks, this is actually reducing or making sure that we don't raise taxes.
Rookie mistake. Hold on. Gotta fix this. I got an issue here. Adjusted the screen. I wasn't posted. Gotta fix the screen. Make sure it looks right on my Twitch. And it looks decent here. And stretch this back out. This isn't the video we're supposed to watch. Let me make sure you find the right one. Cause he had like a little choker. Yeah, here it is. This the one. 12 minutes. It'll go right into my damn 12:30. That 5 minute speech. He wasn't as livid as this one. Something clearly happened.
Senator from North Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I come today to explain my vote yesterday for voting against the motion to proceed on this bill. Mr. President, I spent most of my career in management consulting, managing large, complex enterprise projects, multi-year, thousands of hours, a lot of complexity that take people, process, and technology to make it work. I learned a lot in that career. And I was able to go to the legislature and take that mindset as a member of the minority for 2 terms, and then we got a majority in 2010. And I found myself being the Speaker of the House.
My bad, y'all.
Mr. President, we were in the middle of the financial crisis. When I got sworn in January of 2011, North Carolina had a $2 billion shortfall on a $20 billion general revenue fund. And I had 6 months to balance that budget. Well, Mr. President, we did something that had not been done in North Carolina. We took the time to understand every aspect and every dollar that was being spent in government. We determined how to cut government in a way that was sustainable. We cut 12% from the university system budget. Because the Medicaid proposal in this bill bears no resemblance to that kind of discipline and due diligence. It has no insights into how these provider tax cuts are going to be absorbed without harming people on Medicare. And even worse, most of my colleagues do not even understand on either side of the aisle the interplay of state-directed payments and the devastating consequences of the funding flows that are going to be before us. Mr. President, here's how I figured out the impact in North Carolina. I used to be Speaker of the House, and I like the Speaker and have good relationship with the Speaker and the President pro tem, so I called them up. And I had my staff ask them if they would do an economic impact assessment on what this proposed bill would do to the Medicaid program in North Carolina. But I didn't want just the view of the Republican partisan staff that reports to the Speaker and the President pro tem on how they're going to absorb this bill. I decided to go to Josh Stein, the governor, and I went to his Democrat staff for Medicaid. I asked them to prepare an estimate, independent of the estimate that I had done with fiscal research. But I took a step further, Mr. President. I went to the Hospital Association. I asked 3 different independent groups, a partisan Democrat group, a partisan Republican group of experts, and a nonpartisan group of the Hospital Association to develop an impact assessment independent, not tied. Talking, not sharing, reporting to me. And what I found is the best case scenario is about a $26 billion cut. Now, we've got a delay, so it may be 2 years, it may be 1 year. All it does is make that $26 billion happen in year 1 or year 12, but the impact is the same, Mr. President, and it's indisputable. Now, when I actually presented this report that you can find on my website, I had people in the administration say, you're all wet, you don't know what you're doing. I said, well, why don't we assemble a series of meetings? We're going to provide you our analytics. You go through it, tear it apart. I told Mehmet Oz, who I consider to be one of the most capable people in the Trump administration. He's a brilliant man, and I'd encourage my Democrat colleagues to talk to him. He knows his stuff, and he's very focused on getting efficiencies out of CMS. So we had 3 different conference calls with CMS, with Oz on the phone and on the video, and me on the video. And I said this, guys, I would love nothing more than you to prove me wrong. I would love nothing more for you to tell me it's not $26 billion or $30 billion.
My bad, my mic was muted. I didn't realize.
Or $2 billion,
talking to my
or
damn self.
$200 million. But after 3 different attempts for them to discredit our estimates,
Hey, Patrice.
the day before yesterday,
Appreciate
they
you.
admitted that we were right.
Patricia.
That between the state-directed payments and the cuts
No,
scheduled
I muted
in
my
this
mic. My
bill,
bad on
there's
that.
a reduction of state-directed payments. And then there's the reduction
I muted my
of
mic
the
earlier
provider
and
tax.
then, hold on, yeah. I muted my mic earlier and forgot to unmute before I started talking because, I was letting Tillis do his thing. I didn't want any sound to feedback in. But then I started going and talking about it, but I forgot what I said. But I do believe, to the main point, he was talking about the 3 things in government that you need, right? What he did is go into Democratic opinion, get Republican opinion, and the other one. And essentially what I was saying is that's what Democrats need to do. That's what elected officials need to do, is not be biased in their opinions and actually understand, at least when you elect people, that you would hope that they do, go out and actually say, hey, cool. This is the real impact of this. From the Medicaid cuts, here's what Democrats are going to say from their policy. Republicans are going to say, and here's how we actually benefit that. And actually, from the hospital, this is actually what I said earlier when I was muted, from the hospital piece, understand you talk to the association, then go actually talk to the actual doctors and maybe the patients and understand exactly how that hospital is running so you actually understand, okay, this is the impact of those systems. But the biggest thing is, and this is what I said when I was muted, is understanding that even though this policy may be in this big, beautiful bill now, understanding when it gets implemented and when it gets passed. Because you don't want to have an issue right now that gets passed and then in 2030 it's implemented and all of a sudden it's like nobody remembers that this is the reason why it happened. Kind of like we said earlier when DeSantis took a shot at Biden for the census. Well, if you really look at it, it had to be funded because if 2020 happened, the census had happened 2020 or by 2022 when Biden was in office, it had to be implemented by Trump. Because Trump had the budget in going into that year, right? So the census questions that they had on the last census was implemented by Trump, which caused the domino effect that happened there. So what I'm really saying is, and sorry, I know people said the page is a joke. I appreciate you. The main thing is understanding that having elected officials who actually do their research. Not everybody does their research. Or some people will just take one siloed opinion and make it the broad knowledge for everybody to know. Instead of actually understanding, okay, here's what my team's saying, here's what your team's saying, here's what actually the fans and everyone else is saying that we need. We do this with everything. From games like college football 26, it could be Madden, it could be NBA, NFL. We got tired of kickoffs, people having concussions, people listen to the fans and they change, or listen to the players and the doctors and they change it, right? It's the same thing that's happening here. You want the same thing from your elected officials. So from that point, it's like, okay, cool. Tillis telling his story. He understands that this will impact North Carolina, but also for a fact of, like I said when I was muted, how will the voters in North Carolina take this? Because if Tillis is respected to a point of saying, you know what, that's our senator, regardless of being a Republican or Democrat, regardless of being black, white, or Hispanic, he's the guy we trust, and the new guy's going to run to replace him. But also there's a hurricane that went through Tallahassee, Florida, that ended up in the Appalachian Mountains in North Carolina. How are they impacted and affected? Because the part of it is not just the individual part of this big, beautiful bill, but how is the state recovered from natural disasters or other things of that nature and how they impact it? So if you have the seniors who have Medicare, Medicaid cuts, and then you have all these different cuts happening, and then you have the Appalachian Mountain issues happening, that ends up being an issue. So to the point, I appreciate everybody tapping in. People, again, said the page is a joke. Stop watching Fox News. I don't watch Fox News. I just, tap in for the channel when I need to, right? However, thank you all for tapping in, regardless. I actually have work to do in a bit, so we're going to wrap this up. I'll be back on after my daycare pickup, and then we'll pick it up from there because it'll be a long day. I'll chop up some content, release this today as well because Big Trump, that was amazing. But I'm going to get to this Tom Tillis piece. May do some Jasmine Crockett, but let's see how long my 11:30 is. I may just keep the stream on.
They can't find a hole in my estimate. So what they told me is that, yeah, it's rough, but North Carolina's used the system. They're going to have to make it work. All right. So what do I tell 663,000 people in 2 years or 3 years when President Trump breaks his promise by pushing them off of Medicaid because the funding's not there anymore, guys? In the White House, senators advising the president are not telling him that the effect of this bill is to break a promise. And you know, the last time I saw a promise broken around health care, with respect to my friends on the other side of the aisle, it's when somebody said, if you like your health care, you can keep it. If you like your doctor, you can keep it. We found out that wasn't true. That made me the second Republican Speaker of the House since the Civil War, ladies and gentlemen, because we betrayed the promise to the American people. 2 years later, 3 years later, it actually made me a U.S. Senator because in 2010, it had just been proposed. And just anticipation of what was going to happen was enough to have a sea change election that swept Republicans into the majority for the second time in 100 years. Now, Republicans are about to make a mistake on health care and betraying a promise. It is inescapable that this bill in its current form will betray the very promise that Donald J. Trump made in the Oval Office or in the cabinet room when I was there with finance, where he said we can go after waste, fraud, and abuse on any programs. Now, those amateurs that are advising him, not Dr. Oz, I'm talking about White House healthcare experts, refuse to tell him that those instructions that were to eliminate waste, fraud,
I don't know
and
yet,
abuse,
Brandon. Depending on the work schedule, I got a 11:30, a 12, and a 2. I don't want to be rude to them and rude to the stream, so I may just
admittedly has been abused,
maybe be like 6 o'clock for
should
real.
be eliminated into waste, fraud, and abuse. Money laundering. Read the code. Look at how long it's been there. I was Speaker of the House. I refused to do it. When I left North Carolina, I said, we're not going to do a provider tax. I left it at 2.5%. Now it's 6%. Mistake on the part of the leadership. And frankly, I know my friends are probably going to think I'm a little bit crazy here, but I actually passed a law that made it illegal to expand Medicaid. Why did I do that? Because I was convinced someday we would be here. And I would have rather found a way to get more people on Medicaid at the standard FMAP than having this 90-10 match and watching it disappear and taking away desperately needed health care. So, Mr. President, over the course of the evening, I may look for an opportunity to speak again. But I'm telling the President that you have been misinformed. You supporting the Senate mark will hurt people who are eligible and qualified for Medicaid. I
got a work call as well, so here's what we're going to do, y'all. I'm
the
pause.
reforms in this bill. They are necessary, and I appreciate the leadership
Hey, Lex, give me 2 minutes. Call you right back.
for putting it in there.
All right.
In fact, I like the work of the House so much that I wouldn't be having to do this.
You know what? I appreciate y'all tapping in today. I actually got work to do. You know, I love the fact that we're building a channel here and all the good stuff. As you know, this is Florida. They had alligator Alcatraz. Trump was peaking, so I had to go live just for what it is. But I have a more structured stream later tonight. Look for a scheduled stream here. But everybody on Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube today who tapped in today, I appreciate every single one of you. I haven't checked the subscribers, so if you have subscribed, thank you. Didi, my man, always thank you for modding the channel, but getting the riffraff up out of here with the nonsense and the racial jokes. And my apologies for the rookie mistakes, man. Listen, I've actually looked into a couple of these things on how to make my stream better, you know, not just because of monetize all of this stuff. but make sure that we can actually have something that works, right? So either way, I got business to handle because people paying me for my expertise. YouTube is too. But I want to thank y'all for tapping in with your boy. So either way, thank you. Look for some clips from this stream and also the later stream later tonight. Please make sure you like